Welcome back, everyone. We're just going to give a couple minutes for everyone to make their way to the stage. I will also announce that in the chat, and we'll get ready to go here.
Okay, excited. Got some fresh water. Went to the washroom. Things are looking up.
Okay, I'm just going to see how we're doing. People making their way to the stage.
I will say it's kind of nice with COVID doing all these presentations. Like I don't have to pack my suitcase, like go over to Vancouver, like figure out what I'm going to wear, work out like crazy for 2 weeks before the event. Like I can just sit down in my chair, right? That's kind of one of the bonuses to remote work.
Yeah, for sure. I found a lot of bonuses, especially something like this being a virtual trade show, because people can join from all over the world, right?
Yeah, and I think that sometimes networking, you feel more comfortable doing it not in person. Like it's easy to just be like, "Hi, I'm this person," in an email rather than approaching a conversation and like finding the right time to talk to somebody at an event, right?
Well, especially if people already know each other, they're in their little cliques and stuff, right?
I know.
Okay. All right. So we'll get started. I did want to put some information up here. So me and Megan worked on a couple of polls that we have launched here in the stage area. So we would ask that you work on answering some of those while we go through the presentation so we can look over them afterwards. And I would encourage everyone to share information and share the link so people can join us in the afternoon, and share the hashtag business connections on your social media. And we're going to be talking about social media right now. So thank you all for joining, and I will hand it back to Megan.
Amazing. It's my time again. Okay. So I'm kind of excited because I'll be honest, I'm like more excited about social media and marketing than I am about hiring and retention. So if you even liked the last presentation like at all, I think this one's going to be even more exciting because obviously I'm just more interested in it. But anyway, I'm excited because it's just like a passion of mine to have a voice, to create that voice, and then to put that voice online in a way that people can actually interact with you and hear you as to what why you're in this business and who you are. So I'm just going to quickly share something here called Google Jamboard. Can you guys see this? It's like a white board, and you can see on the left hand side here there's like a bunch of different little icons to click on. You should totally play with it during my presentation. I put the link in the chat there. Carolyn, if you want to reshare it on the couple of different messaging places. So grab a sticky, and using the question here at the top, what you need help with, grab your sticky and just write in your comments. So I need help with TikTok. You want to put your name? Great. If you don't, that's also great. These are 100% anonymous, and you can see exactly what I'm seeing. Whatever you type on there, I see. Whatever I type on there, you see, and you'll have the own copy. And we'll give you a copy of this after. And definitely there's a possibility of being able to answer any of the questions that are on there in a way that allows for you to get tips of how to do that in a document after the presentation. So have fun. This one here at the bottom is the laser. You can do some fun lasers. It does go away. You can use just the text option. I like the stickies because I think they're fun. And then finding the different ones. And so I just go ahead, put in your questions. So I'm going to go through and do my presentation, and then I'll come back and I'll kind of address those questions, okay? But really write in some real stuff. Like I want to hear some problems. I want to hear some nitty gritty because then those are going to help inform the discussions we're going to have later, okay? So it is anonymous, so I can't see what you're saying. So if you want to go like dive into a deep problem, that's totally cool too. We won't come knocking on your door and know who has that problem afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, it did go right to that one. Awesome. Why is it so hot in here and why am I so tired? So that was actually what my husband said to me the other day when I came home from work, and like the kids come home on the bus. We have a studio at home. The kids come home, they harass him after school while I'm at work. And I literally came in, 4:30. I'm like, hi, everyone. And he's like, why is it so hot in here? And why am I so tired? And I was laughing because as a small business owner, that's kind of what it's like to be in the small business kitchen all the time, right? So when we talk about the reality of marketing as a small business owner, it's hard, and I really want to let you guys know today that I understand that because I don't have a degree in social media marketing, but I have to behave and learn the tools as if I do. So I call us again, welcome to Stuff That Makes Sense. And I had introduced myself before, but to those of you who potentially weren't able to join the session this morning, I work at Ethos Career Management Group. I work as a manager of learning and development on our research and development team. No, it sounds very, very fancy. I basically just do the stuff. And sometimes that just means do the presentations. Sometimes that just means send the email. Sometimes that just means create the web page. I am definitely one of those people who just does the stuff. I have helped countless job seekers find meaningful work and found hundreds of employers their hiring fit. I'm also a small business owner who was affected by COVID and a mother who is trying to balance having a career, running a business, raising children, and not divorcing during COVID. So it's hot in here and I'm tired. Look at my nice picture in the car. That's a car selfie. Let's look at some of the things in my life. So that's a nice black and white photo when I was doing an event for Aspect. And I kind of liked it because it's like what people see, right? Like usually when you see me online, you see me with headsets. That is my fat baby, Willem. Willem is now 6 and he's so skinny now. It's not even funny. But we were like, did I birth a sumo baby? Like he was so fat, everyone. He couldn't sit up till he was like 8 months old because he was so heavy and fat that his body would just tip over. So look at his little face there. Absolutely adorable. So there he is there with his sister, Mila. There's Mila. Obviously, you can see that she looks a bit like her mom. Just a little bit like a carbon copy. That's our guinea pig French fry. We actually have 2 guinea pigs, French fry and dinosaur. And we have a cat named Misfit. And we had a dog named Murdoch, but he passed away sadly in COVID, but he was 17. You can see Willem's little head there. He's attached to me like Velcro all the time. That's one of the trips we do. We live on Vancouver Island, so we have lots of opportunity to engage in the outdoors. I am passionate about interior design. This was one of the recent bathroom projects that we did. Our family goes absolutely over the top on family group costumes every single year. This was a couple years ago when we did Dead Victorian Ghosts. And I'm just going to add, how creepy does my son look right here? Like, so all 4 of us dressed up like this. It was absolutely hilarious. And obviously, we have a family business. One of the things we talk about, my husband is an illustrator, and we started a company about 13 years ago doing graphic design and labels. We started as a generalist web firm, and then we moved on over into label design for craft beer, wine, and distilleries, mostly in North America, but we do have international clients as well. So chances are, if you do partake in drinking, that you have seen some of our products on your kitchen table. Sounds creepy. It sounds like I've been in your house. So in this presentation, I don't know, do you guys want to see the fat Willem again? There we go. In this presentation, we're going to talk about marketing and social media. And hopefully you'll take away 3 things from our session today. So you have a story that needs to be told online. You are not alone and your community wants to help you. And here are some tips to get unstuck. So that's it. We're not going to change and solve the world today, but we're going to try for these 3 things. You have a story that needs to be told online. You are not alone and your community wants to help you. And here are some tips to get unstuck. Look at those pairs. Okay. The scary world of going online and making it mean something. I get it. I really do. You started your business because you had a passion, skill, or gift with a craft, a skill, or an ability. We did not start our business because we were social media behemoths. We did not start our business because we were the best at networking in the world. We did not start our business because we knew the best place to get platter trays when we were having business meetings. We started our business because we were good at something. And you probably got into your business because of that product or service, not to take pictures of it and show it on the internet. So 2020 showed us that in order to stay relevant and continue to make a living, we needed to make some changes to how we were running our businesses. So while there are a number of ways we had to change mindsets and operations, today we're going to talk about the ways to pivot to online marketing and social media. And I know that you all know these things. I know that you know that these things exist. I'm not trying to say that you don't have social media or you don't have online marketing. What I'm trying to say is how do we define your voice and put it out there so that your online and your social media marketing actually means something. So here's some of the things that you can do right now to have an impact online. I want you to decide on your voice and to really think about who you are as a business, who you are as a person, and kind of going back to what we talked about when we talked about those hiring strategies. What are you known for? Are you known for your sense of humor, your ability to wheel and deal, your perfectly shaped croissants? Then I want you to either make me laugh, show me a skill, provide me with some information. I want whatever it is that you are known for and do well to show as your voice online. I want you to be 100% of who you are in all that you do online. I don't want you to be anything other than exactly who you are, because that is what I'm going to expect, and it's going to draw me into your business. I'm going to look for a kinship from who I am as a client into how a business runs itself as an operation. So I want you to start with an overhaul of one social media channel to get comfortable. So example, I want you to start showing me 100 pictures of croissants in different locations around your town. Do you guys remember that movie Amelie, where the little gnome goes around? Put in the chat here if you remember that. Remember that movie where she like takes pictures of seals the gnome and like puts it all around. If you're a bakery and you take croissants, I want you to start taking pictures of croissants all over town. Or I want you to start showing me your baking fails that you've done. I want you to tell me more about your business as a real person, but not your style. Fine. Start showing me pictures of your clients that enjoy your goods. I want you to start making it more about the things that actually happen in your business, right? Like, have a hilarious story about how you tripped on your way into the bakery in the morning. Come see me walk on crutches as I deliver goods. That's the stories that I want to see in your business, right? Want to tell me a hilarious story about how you found a dime on your floor, and for you, finding dimes reminds me, of your grandma that passed away. I want you to tell me that story. I want to know about your business and the things that happen for you day to day, because I can't support you if I don't know who you are and what you do. I want you to keep it real. I want it to be positive, and I want you to keep it consistent. Your clients feel safest when your content and your creation is consistently provided to them and spoon-fed to them in certain intervals. So start working with your Facebook. I can easily show you how to view which posts that you share are having the most reactions with your customers or your clients. Once you know this, continue to post in that voice. Share pictures, stories of what it takes to run the day-to-day of your business, and what are some of the things that you wished or you want your clients to know. If you struggle with doing month-end reports, I want you to put that on your social media. Now, you don't need to put the numbers, but I want you to show yourself, it's 9:30, I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm doing month-end reports. Who's good at doing month-end reports? Am I the only one that struggles? These are the things that your people need to hear the day in and day out of running your business. Because what you're going to find is when you open the door and you let people in, well, they can suddenly help you. When they know what you want, they can come to your aid or they can refer someone. So you need to start getting a little bit better about telling your story and being more accurate about that kind of messaging. But there's no perfection in this, right? It's just your voice and your business. We are people first, business second. You're just people who happen to be good at a thing who decided to go forward and make it a business. So we need to start telling people about what it's like for us. So that's the Facebook piece. You can look at the Facebook analytics. You can look at the Instagram analytics. I want you to start to check out what all the buzz is on TikTok. I know. We hear TikTok and we're like, this is young kids doing silly dances in public and filming themselves, and it's ridiculous. But as an aggregator of information, TikTok actually has incredibly high content and incredibly high attention span. So people are learning to get digestible forms of information in 10 to 15 seconds or under a minute, as included in the time frame that you're allowed on TikTok. Plus, it's got one of the largest market shares of where people are getting their information. I'm not saying you need to go on it right now and become an expert, but you do need to understand what's happening on TikTok, because that is the future of the buying clientele, of how they're relating with brands. So you don't necessarily need to go on there right now and like take over the world with your business on TikTok, but you need to go on and look at it and see what's happening, because the people that are making those videos and the people that are deciding how advertising is going to take place for the next wave of consumers, you need to see what it looks like. But when you get a sense for the way they're being presented, this will help inform the messaging from your accounts. Not saying you need to go and do it, but you need to replicate some of the things that are happening on there in the way that you choose to put your messaging out there. One of the things that I see where clients, and even in our own business, we can make mistakes, is that people think that just by sharing articles, they're creating an imprint or they're letting people into their business. It's always real content over random articles. People want to see people just like them, especially in a small town, and feel like they have an in on the average business owner life, right? One of the things we talked about in our last presentation of using Pinterest to start your own boards about what other companies are doing well. Use Pinterest as a way to curate moods, like to see what other organizations are doing on their new websites, to see what they're doing on their social media. Start to curate examples of what's important to you that other people are doing. And then when people start to, well, we talked about, Googling on social media, Pinterest has a really high SEO rate. So they're going to be able to see the things that you're interested in. And when you show people what you're interested in, like people are attracted to things that you're interested in as well. So, you're going to, in essence, push through marketing just by showing people what you're interested in. You're going to attract people who are also interested in the same things. I don't know how many of you, and I would love to see this in the comment, how many of you use Facebook Live or YouTube right now in any kind of application to your business? Anyone use Facebook Live right now in their business, or use YouTube to connect with their clients? Feel free to put it on the Google Jamboard there as well. And see, I'll check in there and see how that's going here for everyone. That's awesome. So what I'm going to do is go back to this afterwards and go ahead and answer those questions. So these are some really great comments so far, and I encourage you to just keep putting in comments on there that I can come back to and answer after the presentation. All right. So when we talk about, using Pinterest, using tools like Facebook Live and YouTube, I encourage you to start to do things like deliver advice to your customers. So when we share information as what we are as experts, we invite others to do the same with us. So consider doing a croissant tutorial or a tax writing 101 session for beginners. It's something that you can do once and has a long-lasting gain for your audience. You can also start to create buckets of assets. And when I say assets, I mean kind of material that you've created that means something to you or tells a story about your business, and you can circulate that throughout your social media within a certain schedule. But people like to learn things. People like to know things. People like to pay for opportunities to do stuff. There's an incredible amount of tools out there like Skillshare and Masterclass. We see all those ads like Masterclass, take this with this person. Yeah, that's super great. But if I was living in a small town, which I am, there's about 90,000 people in Nanaimo, and I know it's not as small as Salmon Arm in the Salmon Arm area. But I don't necessarily want to know what Chris Christopherson is doing with his tuna, and making some dish. I want to know what Red's Bakery is doing in their bakery. So I want Red to show how she makes her amazing cheesecakes, or maybe do a mom and daughter tutorial day where she's making some cheesecakes, and I can teach my daughter how to make those as well. Teaching people how to do things isn't going to stop them from coming to your business. It's going to engage them in either how difficult the work is that you do, or have an appreciation and just have that kinship and that buy into the work that you do. As a busy parent, I don't want to make cheesecakes every week. But if I had a Pro D event where she was doing, make cheesecakes with your daughter on YouTube, and it was, $20 for access or something, I would absolutely do that, just to do a fun event with my daughter, but also to teach my daughter about supporting local business. Your customers are already using these channels all the time. So if your customers are already on there, you need to be marketing to them in your own unique voice. So it's funny. Sometimes I feel like we use the word sales and we use the word marketing, and we think like really cheesy person selling you something. And feel free to put in the comments if, when you think of, sales, you think of like that person like trying to sell you something when you don't want it. But the reality is marketing is just telling your story in a way that's allowing it to be heard from the people who are interested or not interested, and you make them interested. But you need to be there for your clients. And sometimes that means being outside of business hours. And that means that creating content that can create passive income so that people can find out about you long after you've gone to bed. Because I don't know about you, but there are times where I sit on social media and I scroll until way too late, in the evening, because I'm interested in something that's happening within a business or something that somebody's talking about. And that allows for me to connect with them outside of business hours. So your voice needs to be consistent. If you're going to go with funny, great, go with funny. If you're going to go with informative, great, go with informative. If you're just going to go 100% product base, great, go with 100% product base, or do a number of it. But whatever your voice is, you need to follow this through your different channels and have it actually mean something, not just do marketing for the sake of doing marketing. Do you guys remember that Friends episode where Ross got the couch stuck on the stairs? And he was like, pivot. I make that joke all the time. Go ahead, put that in chat if you've also had that joke, because it's hilarious. But once you've established your voice, you've started to practice, you've developed your social media, and there's a place you feel you with. Okay, so a lot of us have done that. Maybe we've got a great Facebook page, or maybe we've got some great pictures on Instagram. But when we take it one step further, there needs to be some kind of call to action. So some kind of online offering has to exist. And I want you all to start to think of things as a client, or think of it as a busy mom. I've got 2 babies like footballs under my arms who are having a spaz, and I need to get dinner on the table, and there's no way I don't want to use a swear word. There's no way at all that I can go into that grocery store and get those groceries right now. How can I spend my money? So I always think of it like some kind of online offering has to exist. Is it curbside pickup? Is it CSA boxes in conjunction with another store? Is it a grocery store, with a liquor store coming together to provide Friday night boxes? Is it a grocery store that's, got a commercial kitchen that could potentially do a charcuterie board coupled with, maybe someone who wants to deliver on a bicycle? I am not kidding. This is the level of pivot we are at right now. And you need to start to think of creative ways to offer solutions to how buyers can spend their money. When I sit at home and I make a buying decision at 11 o'clock at night, I need for that buying decision to be as easy as possible for me. I need to be able to e-transfer someone, or I need to be able to make an order and be able to pay at pickup. And I need to, when I had small kids in car seats, I need to be able to pull up, open my trunk, have them put the thing in there and scan my card, because that's the reality of who your clients are sometimes. So your job as a business owner is to make it as easy as possible for them as possible to spend their money. So you need to really think about it. So maybe a local restaurant or a cafe is better served by posting a daily curbside pickup special on Instagram, and their customers can order by phone rather than you guys investing in a new online ordering system. There are so many different ways to work around the system right now if you don't want to renegotiate your business. And I'm going to talk about a little bit further in this presentation how I actually saved a business from closing just from engaging the community in which I live in. So being consistent with what you want, what you're willing to put in, it doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. So customers and clients feel safe when they can trust you and they know what to expect. They trust consistency. So what I mean by consistency is if you have Truth Thursdays or you have like Monday Madness where you have 50% off of something, whatever it is, that's something that you need to do every single week. So your customers are like, I'm going to check into their Instagram on Mondays because on Monday they have 50% off the day olds, or I can get my ground beans for 50% off only between 9 and 11, right? And they know that every single week that's something that you're going to do. Or are you going to do, Truth Be Told Thursdays or way back when Wednesdays where you post hilarious fashion tips of what you look like in the 80s and you invite others to share their pictures, on your Facebook. Whatever it is, again, that's your voice and you need to be consistent and you need to engage people with things that matter to them. So it's up to you to determine and ask those questions. If you have a customer in your store, you start asking those questions. What do you want to see on my social media? What makes you laugh? What would be helpful for you that I posted? Can you buy all the things that you need to buy when you come into my store? How can I make that easier for you? I always joke that instead of an ice cream truck, there should be like a wine and taco truck that goes through like mom neighborhoods that when our kids are asleep, we can just like walk outside and we can, e-transfer and we can get tacos and wine or chocolate and licorice, at 10 o'clock at night when our kids are asleep. And I joke about that and ha 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 ha. But honestly, if somebody did that, I would be super interested in 10 p.m. tacos, right? Make it easy for me to spend my money and ask me what it is that I want. So how are you going to tell your customers about your offerings and how they can purchase them? Walk through the buying scenario with the client. And I want you to get the client to tell you how they want to make buying decisions. Do they feel safe using e-transfer? Do they feel safe using Square or like tapping their credit card? So when you find out how people want to make buying decisions, you can then produce something that meets their needs. So how often are you going to be posting on social media? Which channels? You do need to be consistent. Now, using products like Hootsuite, that's a pretty cheap product in that it kind of comes down to about $4 a week or something. It's something that you can post once in Hootsuite and then it posts on all your channels at the same time. That being said, different channels seem to have different audiences. And one of the things that I can do in a longer session is to go through why you might be on certain channels, who your demographic is on those channels, and what they want to learn from you on those channels. So going into number 3 here, how will your physical location serve as a tool to direct your clients online? Because maybe you have a physical store and that's a cornerstone of your business. And maybe you have simply an online store, but you're not getting as much proximity or you're not getting as much, take up on people online as you should. Online isn't everything, but it's a choice we need to offer our clients as they require options that meet their needs. Because life has gotten just as complicated for people, who are making buying decisions. So our job as business owners is to make it as easy for them as possible. And please let me know if any questions are coming up as I go in this. The pivot. The Ross thing is super funny. So when we talk about start the conversation and keep it going, encourage your customers to follow you on social media and be part of your online community, your growth, and your story. Our clients are part of our success. So if you have, a get to know our clients section, if you have a section that's like, meet Margot, and Margot's been with us for 10 years. These are the kinds of things in small towns and big towns that people need to hear, that real personal interaction. Stop sharing articles and stuff that doesn't matter to you. Start making content that is about what it takes to run your business and who the people are in your business. You can engage with an email marketing program or newsletter. I do like newsletters. MailChimp has lots of free and easy to use options, and newsletters can be created in Canva or Adobe Spark for free. So we were talking as an organization to have an event called Canva and Chill, which I love. Like, grab your favorite beverage and come, and I'll show you how to use Canva to create advertising and marketing materials, or Adobe Spark and Espresso. Notice the sweet S and alliteration there, but actually like working with me or working with someone to like get into it and actually develop some skill sets. So, maybe you can bring your skill sets up to here, so that person then that you are hiring is able to take you to the next level as well. Oh my gosh, build or upgrade your dreaded website. Does anyone feel like super scared when they think about doing a better website? So it's not as bad as you think. And there is help, cheap help. So Shopify is a solid solution for websites for as little as $9 a month. So it's touted as a turnkey solution, all the way from finding a domain name to getting an online store up and running. You can use Facebook for that capacity. I need for you to understand that if you're going to use Facebook as one of your main web pages, that you need to give me all of the information on your Facebook page as if it was a website. If I can't see a menu for your business on your Facebook page, I'm not going to order, because I can't make that decision quick enough. And I know if I get on the phone and I try to get you to explain the menu to me over the phone, one of my kids is going to hit the other one in the backseat of the car, and I'm going to get so frustrated that I'm going to have to hang up the call. So everything as a buyer needs to happen for me in a way that I can understand what all my options are, and that needs to be shown to me really clearly. But you can do Shopify, I promise. I can bring in an expert, or they can bring in experts that are free from their team to help you get started. Squarespace is my fave. This is the one that our personal website is done, as well as our Ethos website, the one that I put in my bio there. I generally recommend it the most because they're template based. So you can like look and you can be like, that's pretty. That tells my story. I want that one. They're simple to use. They have really good SEO. Remember, SEO we talked about was that search engine optimization, meaning like the words that somebody types in direct them to the things on my page that are words that people type in. And Squarespace works really well across mobile, right? So it's not getting, spending $10,000 for someone to do your website. They're kind of like $30 a month or something. And they work really well across mobile, like cell phones and stuff, or tablets, as well as computers. Wix kind of combines the Shopify and Squarespace together. It's still super easy to use. You can reserve a domain name. You can use your existing one. You can create an online store, capture email addresses for your marketing efforts. They even have an automated tool that will build your website for you after you answer a few questions. So that's kind of cool. But the tools aren't going anywhere. So I'm just going to take a sip of water. The tools aren't going to save your business, though. You are. And it's just like, how all of us used to, in my industry, used to do in-person classrooms. Like, we all had to pivot to going online. And technology isn't going to like save the industry, right? We are going to save the industry. But the technology tools, like having, strong websites or having stronger social media, those are just conduits for us to get there. So they are going to, assist you on focusing on the things that you're good at. That's been kind of a cornerstone of the things we've talked about today. Like, you became an entrepreneur because you are exceptional at something. So find the people and the tools that take the things off your plate that allow for you to go back to being exceptional, and find a cheap and easy way to do it. So make it easier for people to buy things. That's one of the big things that, we talked about. And it's a great comment there from Allison. She just said she uses Squarespace for her personal website and love its ease of use. Totally. We go to the mechanic when we need work done on our car, but yet some of us think that like we have to be able to be good marketers or pay through the nose. And a great comment from Allison there is she also uses Squarespace, and I think she could probably go, put more comments in there as well, in that it is really easy to use, and you can create something that's really visually appealing. So I definitely agree with you there, Allison, for sure. So when we talk about make it easier for people to buy things, convenience is king, even over preference. I said it. It's true though. If I'm ordering Thai food and one makes it really much easier to order, where I don't use the apps like DoorDash and whatnot. I try to order directly from the business. But if a business makes it easier for me to order, that I can do so quickly, I will almost always choose that over the one that has the better spring rolls than the other one. So it really is about creating convenient buying options for the people who want to support your business. Get yourself a Square if you don't have one. Those are easy portable devices that can attach to your cell phone in order to turn your cell phone into a buying option. My hairdresser uses it, and in fact, it's quite easy and it's a really cost-effective option. If you can accept e-transfers, do it. I don't know for your particular, incorporation or status of your business, if that's possible. But as a busy business owner, wife, and mother, the easiest somebody can make it for me to get my money in their pocket, I'm going to do that option. And e-transfers work really well for me. I can do it on my phone. It's why places like Skip the Dishes and DoorDash are successful. It's because people can just click on that app. They can go blah, 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 and the stuff arrives at the place. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do all of those things. I'm saying that you need to make it easier for your clients to spend their money with you. Use Shopify if you can, or engage your own delivery service. Talk to your Work BC Center or the college, and maybe there is somebody who wants to just do deliveries, right? Maybe they've got a great bike courier. Maybe someone's part of a weight loss group that wants to start their own, courier bike delivery system of dropping some things off at people's houses. There are reasons that you became an entrepreneur. There's other reasons that people want to do that as well. Flex your operating hours. Do you ever think about doing maybe a weekly, ask me your questions, or order from me online from 7 to 9 p.m. Open up a Zoom room, open up a live Instagram, have people walk around your store with your camera because we've got certain restrictions in place. Have people be able to look at something and purchase it from you right there and then. If I'm sitting in bed and I put my kids to bed and I'm just kind of drifting off and want to shop, I want to shop when I want to shop. So if somebody's creating this environment for me, like a pop-up, amazing. I will totally buy things right there. But give me options other than just showing up at the store. And it doesn't mean I don't want to show up at your store. But if I can look online first and reserve something and have you package that for me and give me a total, and then I can just come into your store and pick it up right there and go, that's going to work for me really well as somebody who has sometimes a limited amount of time to do stuff. Or maybe you offer a $4 delivery and you have certain boxes that go out, and one of your employees is willing to drive those off in the evenings. One of our local clothing stores does that here. They have a great store downtown, and I can never get there during business hours because my work schedules are really busy. But I can go online, curate my box of things that I want. She gives me a total. I send an e-transfer, and then later that night she drops them at my house. So for her, she makes just as much money, and I paid a $4 delivery fee. But, don't leave a customer hanging. You need to, long gone are the days where we can wait 48 hours of getting back to somebody. So we need to make sure that we're providing those services in a timely fashion. Do what you said you were going to do every single time. Ask for your clients' help and listens to their needs, and change up your offerings or services, i.e. meet the demand. Pulse your customers all the time. Ask them on Facebook, ask them on Twitter, ask them on Instagram. What do they want to see? What are we missing from our offerings that you really, really want? And then give it to them. Meet people as who they are, where they are, convenience and creativity. Use those free 40-minute Zoom accounts to create an environment of connection. So do you remember back when we talked about earlier in this presentation about the croissant example? Teach a class, do a $20 Pro D-Day session where people are learning about your business, right? Maybe not croissants because I know that they take like 3 days to actually do layers to layers, but you can offer classes, webinars, group sessions. Like you have full control over what you put out there. Teach classes, take customers behind the scenes. I love that. I love when a company takes me like behind the scenes because we all feel like the back room is like secret. But if you work in retail, like show the customers the back room. Like make a funny video about, you know how your customers will often ask, like, is there more stock in the back? Here's what our back room looks like. Like that's a funny joke so that people can like see that there's really not a ton back there. But as long as it's your voice, in your business as to what you want to say. And use Facebook Live. I've done tons of Facebook Lives where like I just roll into work, I park in my parking spot, I'm like looking out and I just start the Facebook Live and I just say, "Hi everyone, I was, really thinking today I had a tough sleep last night, but I'm really excited. This is what a project I'm working on today on our research and development team." And it's really nothing other than to communicate with people about what people on our team are doing. And that kind of engagement always gets more support and more followers than me just posting some kind of article about, something else. And find your people. Find the people doing the things that speak to who you are. See what they're doing. Ask them questions about what they're doing. And have this help inform your messaging. You need to collaborate with other local businesses and consider how you can support each other. Maybe it is a local box or a local CSA box. Maybe it is evening hours where you're going to do a small pop-up of 3 different businesses. So there can be social distanced, pop-up session of 3 businesses out on a nice day in the street. But small businesses who, are really small in isolation, but giant when they're gathered together. So I encourage you to look at who's going to be on your small business island. So the last piece as I get into, I want to tell you my Supret story. I'm going to stop sharing just so you don't have to look at the screen anymore. And then I'm going to go back to your questions on the Google board. So back in about October, we have a small grocery store here in Nanaimo called the Supret. And the Supret is kind of like a discount grocery store. They get things kind of 2 to 3 days out from expiry, and they sell them at a reduced rate. So it's an incredibly impactful and important store within our community. And it's also really important as imprint of food waste as well, right? Otherwise, those things would end up in the dumpster. So they've been around for about 50 years, and COVID hit them so hard that they just about shut their doors. So what they did is they kind of put out a letter out to the community and they posted it on their Facebook. And their Facebook really only has kind of like 2,000 people, out of a town of, 90,000. So it's not huge. And they said, basically we are appealing to our masses and our customers and we need help. And they were really embarrassed to do that. But they basically were like, we don't know what else to do because our business is down by 90% and we're going to lose our traffic and we're going to have to shut our doors. So, everyone on Facebook is like, okay, like we'll try to shop more. And everyone, kind of picked up. But as a community member, I was like, well, what can I do? And I encourage you to approach your other businesses. How can I help? So I started a Facebook group called Supret Secrets. And if you Google it on Facebook, you'll find it. And the goal of the Supret Secrets was honestly just to start as me as my friends so that we could share like deals that we found and the recipes that we created out of those deals that we found. So we started that and it kind of started getting like really, really big. And people started sharing like their dishes like crazy. And so we just hit about 2,500 members, which is super crazy since really about December. And we got picked up by the CBC. So they did like a whole article on it. And then we got picked up by Check 6 News. And then our membership base got bigger and bigger. And then the members started helping other members out. So they started contributing prizes. We started giving gift certificates to the store. And we completely changed the landscape of the business by getting the community buy-in to people wanting to have that support. And, it's funny, somebody just posted on the page this morning I didn't realize how much I needed this store and this Facebook group in such dark times right now as a community. So what we realized by creating an event or an avenue or a place for people to connect without having to spend money, without sense of classism where you had to be at a certain level to participate, people found a way to connect and to be with each other while staying totally distant from each other as well. So we all got to know each other. We're like sharing recipes. It's, allowing us, time and methods to cook neat things for our family. So the reach of this kind of experiment was huge. And, now I've become quite close with the woman who manages the store and the owner. And they're like, you saved our business. Like, I don't know if that was your intention, but you saved our business. And I'm kind of like, no, I didn't, because that really wasn't my intention. I just wanted to help. But we forget that sometimes that just by pulling the community members in and providing them a voice and a way to do so, that's, where the magic happens, is when people are involved in the success of the organization. So it was a pretty cool experience for sure. So I'm going to go back over to the Google Jamboard because I know we're just wrapping up. We have a couple more minutes till the end, and I don't think most of you will mind, going into lunch just a little bit. So let's have a peek here. Love this idea. I feel like we need a list of all these amazing tools. Yeah, for sure. So if you head over to our Ethos booth in the afternoon, Sarah and I have created quite a few presentations about like how to set up like the LinkedIn properly. What kind of story do you want to tell on LinkedIn? Or what are some of the ways to make your LinkedIn awesome? But it would be great. Yeah, like I think we should do an entire other session on like all of these amazing tools and how to use them and like get some ideas going. And I think these collaboration sessions need to actually happen where, Mary from the chamber can tell, Bob, the renovation expert, what Mary needs to see as a female client, because Bob may not know that. So we need those safe environment spaces where people can actually talk to their truth. Yeah, like I need help with ideas of what to post on Facebook. This is the exact example where, going to the college and getting an intern or a co-op student to work on a project for you to give you a list of 400 ideas that will take you through the next 2 years, or working with people like myself or working with Carolyn to have Carolyn develop a group of people who are just going to call it like Facebook Friday ideas. And it's a group where from 6 to 7 on Fridays, you throw ideas at the wall and see what happens. I love it. I think that's amazing. So tips on getting an increased engagement on social media. If you're not getting an increased engagement on social media, you haven't identified your voice strongly enough for people to be interested in coming back and hearing your story. It doesn't mean you don't have a story. It just means that you haven't been engaging with it enough on information that is relevant to your audience. So there's definitely more on that as well. And that kind of ties into the how to get more followers. It's kind of like a ripple effect, but once people are talking about the experiences they have in your store or online, it encourages others to do so. So there's definitely contests, there's really, like to share and all that stuff that we see. But more often than not, how you treat your customers and how people feel after they have a buying experience with you translates into how much they want to follow your organization, or how easy can you make their buying experience. Because if a lot of that buying experience can be translated online, they're going to want to continue to follow you because they continue to buy things in a way online that is easy for them. Someone wrote here they've used YouTube for premieres and it's a great way to generate interest. Yeah. So awesome. Thank you for writing that, because YouTube and Instagram are kind of up there as the two kind of ways that people interact with making buying decisions and communicating. And then TikTok is slowly TikTok. What am I talking about? TikTok is, sorry, I really need to drink some water. Slowly coming up as the third to potentially eclipse the other two. But I do like those two for sure. The one thing, and I know that Sarah could probably put in the chat here, is helping with TikTok. I just made her download it and play around with it and really get a pulse on what is happening on TikTok, because it is something that you don't necessarily need to move to, because I'm not a big believer in making you do something that isn't your voice of your business. But understand, part of being an entrepreneur is delivering the how and the why of what you're passionate and good at to the people that are making those buying decisions. So keep in mind, TikTok has a large amount of followers, so it is important to understand what's happening on that channel. We can totally help you set up LinkedIn. I get it. I appreciate all the exclamation points. I feel like I feel you. And I think Carolyn can certainly help with information and be able to, help put those pieces together. So I see Carolyn coming back on, so that might mean she wants me to be quiet. Oh, okay. I'll just go to the last three. How do you create authentic content that doesn't always use stock photos? Yeah, that's a great question. You have to start taking pictures of yourself. You have to start taking pictures of your cash register and be like, I can't believe this G key got stuck today. Like, this is the stuff that people need to hear from entrepreneurs. Like, who got the long census or the short census, right? People want to feel like, oh, they're just like me. They have to answer the long census, right? Or I'll pay someone $10 to answer my long-term census, right? Again, that would be if your voice is jokey. Not everybody has that jokey voice, right? Maybe it's you want to give them a list of all the amazing things you accomplished in the day. It is going to take a little bit more work to get used to it. But remember, people are coming to your business because of you, not only your skill, but the people that run the business as well. So it is about creating that content of those photos that are you in your life. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a stylized, shoot. It can be like, look at my new coffee mug that I got at London Drugs. And for me, it would be funny. It'd be like, and I've already lost the lid to it. I tell myself I'm not going to, but as a busy parent, I've already lost the lid, but it's still my favorite coffee cup. So this doesn't really tell you anything about my business, but it tells you about who runs the business and who I am. And you can decide if you want to make a buying decision at my organization because of who I am. Now, if I was going to then potentially increase shares and likes, I might say, I want you to have a coffee mug just like me. So the 10th buyer that comes in our store today, I will go down to London Drugs and I will buy you one just like me. And I'd love to see you post it online. Those are the kinds of ideas for posts, like just being creative and thinking about how you can interact and engage people who are in your business. Consistency of content. Yeah. So that definitely, I'm going to stop sharing again because I've got a handle on the questions here. But like, how can you, learn what lines get SEO? That's kind of a longer conversation for sure. Let me just stop sharing there. But, the well-established social media channels, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Eventbrite actually has really strong SEO, like when you Google. But the best thing to do is like to Google things that Google people's names and see what comes up. And what you'll start to see are the behemoths or the channels out there that have the strongest social media. So then when you see what type of people, what you find when you Google them, that's where you're going to see where you need to put your efforts. But honestly, please don't spend money on SEO experts and marketing experts. Please don't. Like, there's a place for all of that. And there are people that do it really, really well. But before you need to bring in somebody to do those things, it's really important that you find your voice and tell that voice before you can engage somebody else to take it to the next level for you. So I think that kind of brings us to 12:07. I'm a little bit longer with this one. My apologies, Carolyn.
No, I loved it. I think everyone was really engaged. I really like the Jamboard. That's the first time I've heard of that.
So fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's a nice way to engage without having people ask questions with their name attached to it. So it adds that little layer of anonymity there for those real kind of vulnerable questions, right? Mm-hmm. Like the one, I need help with setting up LinkedIn, right? It's hard to admit that stuff sometimes. And I think that vulnerability is something that you've encouraged a lot. And so I really, really appreciate that. And I really appreciate everything that we've heard thus far. I don't see any other specific questions, but Megan and the Ethos team is going to be around. You guys have your booth, so feel free to jump into the booth and ask any questions. Connect on LinkedIn. Megan was saying that she already has a bunch of connections on LinkedIn already.
Yeah, a few of you have added me, which is great. I mean, and it is just, again, making those connections. If we think about using these events as networking events, these are things we need to be doing in our lives all the time, finding out new tools, checking out with people, and then, yeah, being vulnerable. Because by asking that question, I need help with my LinkedIn, I'm like, okay, well, here's what you need. Here's where you go get it. If you didn't write that or I didn't know, I can't help you. And that's what we need to look at as our business, being honest about the things that we need as well.
Perfect. So just before we end here, I just want to mention there's actually an event tomorrow that Salmon Arm Chamber members have been invited to. So it's by the South Shuswap Chamber of Commerce, and it is Give Us Your Best Pitch Spring Networking Social, and it starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. I believe there's a beer tasting as well, so feel free to pop over to the South Shuswap Chamber of Commerce. Talk to Karen about that. She'll give you some more info on that. And you can register as well if you need the link. And then I wanted to mention as well, our virtual networking coffee chat is next Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. So make sure that you're registered for that. It's the same link as the other coffee chats if you have been there in the past. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, Megan. Really, really appreciated it. And I'm excited to see what questions and what help kind of comes out of today for some of our businesses and interacting with the Salmon Arm community.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you bringing in an outsider into your small business community, but hopefully I didn't seem too big city from my $90,000 town or 90,000 member town. But yeah, as if I make that much. But honestly though, like I really appreciate just you being open to bringing me here because, what you do is specific to what you do. So I feel grateful that I had this opportunity and got to know you and network with you and Michelle. So I'm just hopeful that even if you took away one thing today, then, I guess maybe I did part of my job. So thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So we're going to end the broadcast now, but we will be around, and feel free if you see someone that you want to chat with, feel free to send them a private message. You just have to go to the people page. And if you have any issues with the Hopin platform, have any questions, feel free to hit me up and ask me some questions. And yeah, everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.